What's up guys, it's Carrier 3 Printing Technology. For this video I'm going to be assembling the Prusa i3 mk3s y-axis frame. I want to do this video as similar to the mk3s all together, but it's going to be a really long video and a really big one too. So I thought it'd be better to just put them up into the different sub-assemblies of the printer. I think I got about an hour worth of footage just on the y-axis, and that's not counting the extruder axis part is twice as long and more difficult to assemble. So it'll just be one really big video. It'll be similar to how I assembled my mk3s printer. Just different sub-assemblies: y-axis, e-axis, z-axis, x-axis, batteries, and display setup. But anyway, let's get into the video. It's going to be mostly just B-roll, and I'll be doing some voiceovers on it. Okay, starting off, we got the 4 extrusion frame pieces with the rubber feet on each one, with the 4 plates, the z-axis plate, front plate, back plate, actually 3 plates, and a lot of M5x16R screws, and the 2 block nuts for the power supply. So we're going to start with the big plate, the z-axis frame. This one does not have a Prusa symbol on it, so make sure the cutout on the bottom left is facing this way. And we get the 2 short extrusions and the 2 long extrusions. The long ones go in the back and the short ones go in the front. I have a 3-pin Raspberry Pi mount on this one. We're going to take the M5x16R screws and basically put 4 on each end of the 4 extrusion pieces to connect them to the frames. Get them started, and then once they get them all placed, we'll tighten them up, and we'll do 4 more screws on each side of the front and back plates as well. Also, you'll make sure you have the 2 power supply block nuts attached before you tighten all this up. We'll go in the back right extrusion. Here is all of the screws attached to the frame with all the plates and extrusions. They're all still going to be tightened up, which is what I'm going to do. Now that that is done, we'll get the 4Y rod holders that we 3D printed with M310 screws and square nuts for each one, and connect them to the frame. Here we'll get the pulley 3 print piece. We'll get M318 screw go through the center with the pulley, and 2 M310 screws and hex nuts to attach to the frame. We'll also use a nylock nut to connect the M318 screw and the pulley to the printed part. Here is the rest of the Y rod holders. I had to wait to get more thin square nuts in, because like I said, I am sourcing this off from non-Prusa websites. We'll also attach the motor mount with two mk3s screws on the back end. Next, we'll prepare the bed carriage to be installed. We've got 3 U-boats with 3 hex nuts front now. I had to get more nylock nuts. We also got some bearings for the carriage as well. We have the bed plate ready to install carriage. So we'll get the 2 330-meter rods. On the bearings, we'll make sure the line of ball bearings, one of them runs up to the open spot on the carriage plate so that's easier. The first set of bearings I used was a cheap Chinese one. This one I have replaced all three of them for a more higher quality LDO bearing. We'll add the zip ties to the four corners. I believe there is a certain way to put zip ties on, or it's one that works more aesthetically pleasing. So put these on and then cut the ends of these off. Next, we'll test fit the belt holder pieces to the bottom of the Y-axis carriage. We'll use the mk3s screws to attach these to the carriage plate and a hex nut on the other side. Now that I got more Narok nuts in, I can replace the hex nuts that I had holding the U-boats onto the carriage plate. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this clip. This might take a while. Don't have a wrench small enough to fit this. So I'm going to be stuck doing this for a while. So I get these pretty tight, and then I'll go back over and tighten it, make sure. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. So finally, the stepper motors came in. These are LDO type stepper motors. Now I can go back to the wax motor, going to use two mk3s screws to attach it to the printed part and make sure the cable comes out of the motor facing downwards so it can come out the back side of the plate. For this I have a GT216 pulley. It has two grub screws or set screws with it. We'll make sure at least one of these set screws is on the flat part of the motor shaft and that the pulley is pushed close as you can to the motor, but with a little bit of space so that it's not rubbing against it. So after assembling the printer, I found that it's easier to take the print parts off and put these screws on first. Then once the belt and stuff's on, you can put it back on the carriage. But I'm going to use a Narok nut on the bottom hole, and this hole I'm going to be using a hex nut. So we have the belt that goes with the GT 216 pulleys. Wrap one end around the M310 screw and push it into the 3' part I just showed you, and then follow the belt around the 2 pulleys and back to the other piece with a similar setup. The last step is to get a M330 screw and put a using the nylock nut on the first 3' part. Push the screw through the other one till it reaches to the nylock nut and tighten it in place so the 2 belt holder pieces don't slide around and become loose. And here is the finished y-axis frame. So the next axis will be the x-axis to assemble. That'll be coming in the next few weeks. So overall, the y-axis is different from the mk3s Prusa 3 printer because it uses aluminum extrusions instead of rods and 3 print parts. So that gives it a more sturdier frame, and it's a bit easier to assemble and reliable overall. You can also upgrade it from this stock version to the bare extruder version, where it's mainly just all aluminum extrusions. It gets rid of the steel plate and stuff like that, in case you really want a bare, sturdier printer. But in my opinion, right now, that's kind of not necessary. Or at least until I get to using this printer more and figure out if it really does need it. But that's really the only big things from the mk3s printers. So anyways, that's going to wrap the video up for this week. If you like this video and see today's videos first, make sure to click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.